That night, I made history. I put in the work to make history that night. It came to be, and my name rang bells all over the world. 23, 24, and 25 years old, I was in prison, all for fighting. So I turned it around where fighting got me in trouble. Now fighting's getting me paid. I was sick of my own shit. Got on my knees. I cried, prayed, and I was screaming loud. I was like, God, please just take me away from this, man. I'm tired of this. At the same time, God helps you, but you got to work for yourself. I've been through everything that we'll get through on this podcast, from prison to my son's 13 now. When he was 10, he had cancer. He beat cancer, and it was all just never talking about the negative, always just seeing the positive in the moment. And thank God we've made it through all those hard, difficult times, you know? We got a lot of life to live, a lot of fights to fight, a lot of love to give.
Diaz, my brother. Let's go.
Yes,
Welcome
sir,
to the space of solace. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, my brother. Good
Absolutely.
to see y'all.
I think that a lot of individuals could relate to you because you're not this polished individual that was fighting from the moment that he was out the womb and had professional training. Like, your story is deep, bro. And it's something that you had to fight for, literally. Right. You had to fight for freedom. And that's something that we've done in our own respect, but never from a figurative perspective. And I feel like you trained, like watching you, bro, because I'm a huge fan of the sport. And when you're talking about a 3-second knockout. It feels like you trained your whole life for a 3-second fight.
That's what it is.
It's insane.
Well, I have a question for you. Did that change your life or did it change your reputation?
It changed a little bit of both. Reputation when it comes to the sport, because my reputation has always been solid. You know, thank God for that. I've always kept it real. What you see is what you get. And but when it comes to the sport, and you know, you whenever, and it's not just a sport. It's just like any job. When it comes to podcasting, when it comes to you want to be a mechanic, a teacher, anything, you got to put in time for anybody to respect what you're doing. You know what I mean? So by the time I got that 3-second knockout, I had my name's been ringing bells a little bit. I've been putting in the work, but then that night I made history, you know, and then you can't deny history. I put in the work to make history that night. It came to be, and my name rang bells all over the world. I mean, I knocked them out on Friday, and by Monday morning, I was getting calls from Japan, Italy, you know what I mean? Just name it. I was getting calls from everywhere. I was sitting on Radio Row with different radio stations from all across the nation. Instagram blew through the roof. Just recognition, sponsorships, and just like all the good things that you kind of work so hard for came at that moment, you know? But what people don't see, just like everything else, they don't see how much hard work you put in behind the scenes on this podcast, the editing, the getting the guests, the time, the everything you put into this. They don't see what you're doing in training. Mm-hmm. And this is months of getting ready. When it comes to the 3-second knockout, I study every opponent I fight. You know, you get videotape on them. I send them to my coaches, and we kind of like group up. But this particular guy, I studied. He was a big guy, big dude, taller than me, strong dude. I just noticed that in all his fights, he was a big MMA guy. He did a lot of kickboxing. Whenever they put pressure on him, his thing was to extend his arms, put his chin up in the air, like kind of try to push you back. So for a month straight, I was even backstage getting ready, warming up for this fight. I'm going over this move because, you know, in bare knuckle, you start 3 feet apart. And I was like, I'm taking off this thing like I'm Usain Bolt, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just taking off on him. And we, you know, I did where if you see the fight, I throw a jab, I miss him with a jab, but you see him extend his arm, put his chin in the air, and I came with that overhand right.
Boom.
And it landed on the off button, bro, and we made history.
Yeah, man, that there was so much confidence behind that hit.
Absolutely.
There was an immense amount of confidence. And some of my favorite knockouts inside of the sport happened from people that visualize that knockout happening over and over and over again. What else have you done that with inside of your life?
Well, I try to do that with all my fights, you know what I mean? And honestly, like, I'm a super optimistic person. I see the good in everything because of my background, because of all the shit I've been through before, you know what I mean? There's always a solution for every problem, you know what I mean? So I try not to see the problem, I try to get the solution. So just in life general, man, look, I've been through everything that we'll get through on this podcast, from prison to my son's 13 now. When he was 10, he had cancer. He beat cancer, and it was all just never talking about the negative, always just seeing the positive in the moment. And thank God we've made it through all those hard, difficult times, you know?
That's beautiful. I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about it takes years to become that overnight success, and it took so many of those years. Tell us a little bit about how many years did it take of training, working hard, that led up to that moment. In 3 seconds, your life changed. What was happening in those years prior?
So from the 3 second knockout back to when it started, I wouldn't say it took about 3.5 years.
3.5.
Yeah. In 2016, I was living in Colorado. I was still on the streets. I was still doing street things. I had this come to God moment. Everybody's heard this story, and I have no problem repeating it again. I had a come to God moment where I was just tired of my own, man. I was tired of trying to hustle a buck here and really not trusting anybody. Money makes people funny, and especially like in this underworld that you live in or that I came from. And again, I was tired of my own. I'm a big believer in God. I've always been, a big believer in God. That's I'm not spiritual. I mean, I'm not religious. I am spiritual. You know what I mean? And I believe in God, and He's put me in certain positions. And just this day, I was in Colorado. I was sick of my own shit, got on my knees. I cried and I prayed and I was screaming loud. I was like, God, please just take me away from this, man. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of it. Just, take me out of this situation. At the same time, God helps you, but you got to work for yourself.
Right.
So the next morning I woke up, I packed, I had a 99 Chevy Tahoe there. I packed it up, put everything in it, anything that fit. I left the furniture, everything. Packed up, flew back to Miami. The transport came, took my car. I got back to Miami. I had always trained in the sense of I always did weights. I always stayed in some type of shape.
How old were you around this time?
I was 35.
35.
I was 35. 2016, I was 35. I came back to Miami. I had been doing some jiu-jitsu and a little bit of boxing in Colorado just to stay in shape. And I got to Miami and I got to Fifth Street Gym, which is in Miami Beach, Muhammad Ali's old gym. It's a world famous Fifth Street Gym. I knew them from when they opened originally. They had closed after Muhammad Ali. They opened originally again, I think about 2011. I was there. I was training. On and off, I'd always done that in my life, because my breadwinning came from something else. So I would never even thought about fighting professionally because it was scary to start all over from zero. But this time,
Especially
I don't know.
at
I just, was that?
Especially at 35, bro.
Exactly, especially at 35.
Yeah, that's late.
Especially at 35, and when all you know is, make a phone call and make a couple of bucks. You know what I mean? That was life at the moment. But whatever. So I got in the gym. I was training, still running the streets, but training at Fifth Street Gym every day. These guys, like I said, I know them from 2011. Now it's 2016. They know me very well. They know where I come from. I'm always telling them stories. They're astonished with the that goes on behind the scenes. And they made me accountable in the sense that whenever I missed a day at the gym, they were on my ass on the phone. Like, hey, where you at, bro? Why you here? So kind of gave me this feeling of I'm letting them down. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, what am I doing? Let me get to the gym.
Accountability,
exactly what it was. So I stayed in the gym, and I had been in the gym, I want to say, probably about 2 months straight. You know what I mean? Boxing every day, sparring, and I had boxed as a kid. I started boxing probably when I was 6 or 7. I'd mess around with. Had this cousin that came from Cuba. He was an amateur boxer. Learned a little bit. I fought in the streets my whole life. Went to prison for fighting in the streets. Was in juvenile detention centers fighting. So I always loved fighting. I always had that in me. But like I said, after 2 months, one day, I told my coach, I'm like, hey man, I want to take a fight. He's like, yeah, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I want to take one. I honestly wanted to do it, to take pictures, do it for Instagram, you know what I mean? Get the post and tell my kids I did it. This was December 2016, right before New Year's. He comes back the next day and he's like, hey, we got a fight for you. It's in Dominican Republic, January 27, 2017. I'm like, all right. As soon as he told me, I'm like, that was like a nut check.
And
I'm like, damn,
is this with headgear on?
No. This is a professional fight. Headgear's only amateur stuff. This is
your first fight was professional?
Yeah, well, I did amateurs when I was about 20 years old. I did amateurs when I was about 20. But again, at that time, I was just living that life. So I was in the gym. Amateurs don't pay anything. So I'm paying myself in the gym. I'm paying myself to get to these fights. And then, I got kids at the time already. So it's my life at that time wasn't allowing me to do what I wanted to do.
And you had a month or two to prepare, right? Because you said you got to in December, January.
Exactly. Just a month or two to prepare. It was more balls and heart than it was brain. You know what I mean? But here comes the next day he comes. Hey, fight. We got to fight for you January 27th. And I was like a nut check. Like, damn, it was kind of a self check here. Like, damn, am I really ready for this? I'm going against somebody who actually trains. You know what I mean? Excuse me. And whatever, kept getting ready. January 27th came. We flew to DR. I have a dope video from my first fight. It's a badass video that a great friend of mine, you know, shout out to Jose Segarro from Filmheads. He came with me, flew on his own dime, and filmed a movie for me about my first fight. And man, about 10 friends came with me to the fight. I won the fight by first round knockout, and it was the biggest rush of life I've ever had ever. Any drug, any woman, any good time at a party, anything. It was the moment that this rush of life, and I was like, man, I think this is what I want to do. At that time, I still had 1 foot in and 1 foot out from the streets. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, but I was still training. Took another fight the next month, won. Took another fight the next month, won. And I just, anything that would come up, I was just taking it.
Were you getting paid for these, or?
What I was getting paid, I was spending on my trips and my gear and getting my coaches paid, and you know what I mean? I was
reinvesting right back into it.
Exactly. It was actually negative for me, but I saw, for the first time, I saw a future in it, because I was always the type of dude that I couldn't see 5 minutes ahead of me. You know, people were like, oh, what are you going to do in the next 5 years? I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do 5 minutes from now. You know what I mean? Started waking up to life, you know what I mean? And again, the accountability, the people in the gym, I couldn't let them down. I saw my mom be so proud of me. She always hated me fighting, even when I did amateurs. She'd be against it. You know, of course, like any mom, she don't want your kid getting hurt. But finally, you know, I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock at night. I'm eating right. I'm staying focused. I'm staying away from everybody that I used to hang around with. I ain't answering my phone no more. And my mom stopped worrying about me. You know, she's not up at 2, 3 in the morning wondering where I am, wondering if she's gonna get that call that you know, God forbid. And man, that just turned into like one day, that first year in 2017, by the end of the year, you know, I had fought in Miami, had a badass crowd. Doors were opening, opportunities were coming. I was getting, you know, a little bit of checks from sponsors and stuff. So now I am making money. And I'm like, you know, self-check again, where I'm like, listen, what you gonna do? You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You gonna do this or what? You know what I mean? To myself. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this, man. I'm gonna do this. And that's it. Life turned into a professional fighter. I was at the gym all day, every day, running the track, doing, you know, eating right, doing what I needed to do. And brother, here we are today in 2026. In January, it'll be 10 years since my first professional fight. So I'm basically 10 years in with training. So many doors have opened. We were just talking before the podcast. I have these opportunities where I travel the world and I go to these military bases and I train troops. I do speaking engagements as well. I have sponsorships. And besides that, I got a beautiful wife. I got a beautiful house. My kids are healthy. Everybody's no worries. You know what I mean? Nobody's worried in the sense of like, you know, what's he out here doing? You know what I mean? Everybody knows what I'm doing. I'm keeping it legit, and I'm living life to the fullest, getting opportunities like this to be able to talk to you guys.
God bless,
and man, life is just amazing, man. Thank you. God bless, brother. You know, God has really blessed me. And my motto to that is fighting saved my life, man. It really did. And it was a point in life where I came from, like I said, juvenile detention center, prison as a young man. I was at prison, 23, 24, and 25 years old. I was in prison, all for fighting. So I turned it around where fighting got me in trouble. Now fighting's getting me paid. And again, opportunities like this.
That's crazy. The conversation we just had right before this conversation was about turning your burdens into blessings, and you turned something that got you into trouble into one of the biggest blessings. And you're literally the 0.00, because you know how many people are chasing that right here in our city. And to see somebody that looks like you, that looks like me, that talks like me, that's from the same city as me. I wrestled your high school.
Yeah,
you feel me? So like, it's a huge accomplishment, and
It really is.
God bless you, bro.
Thank you, my brother.
God bless your family.
Thank you. God bless you guys too. And one thing I want to make a point of is that I'm not special, dog. You know what I mean? The only
balls and brains, though.
Yeah, balls and brains. You know what I mean?
Balls and brains.
And if a lot of us have that. And especially you come from South Florida, there's a lot of balls and heart down there, not too much brain, you know what I mean? But if you start using your brain, I'm not special, man. I just put in the work, and there's a lot of things you got to do while you're putting in work. Like I said, not answering your calls, not going to hang out, not missing out. People got the fear of FOMO, you know what I mean? The fear of missing out. I had that for a while. I left it. I'm like, I don't care if I'm missing out because I know there's a brighter future. I know there's certain things I got to do. And these things are only holding me back, you know what I mean? And I was able to do that. And like you said, you know, when you look back, the 0.1% that do make it, it's because they put your mind to it, because there's so much out there trying to grab you that, you know what I mean? It's you just gotta hit that switch. You gotta flip that switch, and everybody has a different switch to flip. I saw the happiness of my mom. I saw my kids being proud of me, and I'm like, man, this is where it's at.
Well, I want to talk about those early years. One of my favorite, whenever you search Ulysses Diaz, one of the best things that come up is prison to private jets.
That's
prison
right.
to private jets.
That's fire.
Which is
I like
so
that.
sick, bro. Prison
So
to private
cool.
jets. And it's the first thing you think if you read that, you think, oh, some internet scammer, prison to private jets. But no, this man fought his way onto prison. Let's talk about those early years. I know there had to have been moments that while you were in prison, what was that moment that you were like, bro, I can't do this no more, bro?
So I'll tell you that right now. And I want to tell you why I say from prison to private jets. So I went from prison to private jets because I grew up with Pitbull. That's my right-hand man, my brother still to this day. Me and him met at 11 years old. We're 45 years old, and he's still my brother. Talk to him on a daily basis. This is my dog, my comrade, my everything. He's as close as a blood brother could be to me. So I got out of prison on a Friday, May 6, 2006. I called him, hey, you know, what's up with you? Oh, I'm out of town. I'll see you Monday. Monday, he picked me up, took me to Dayland Mall, got me all the fresh gear, told me, hey, look, you're working with me now. You're going to be my security. We're traveled the world. Came out of prison, private jets to Italy. I went everywhere, dog. I went everywhere. Anywhere you could imagine, I was with him standing on stage. You could catch me standing on stage on old concerts. And so that's why I say prison and private jets. Now, when it comes to the question you were asking about being in prison, yes, dog. I would ask myself every day, like, dog, you're in there with thousands of other dudes, and I'm not better than nobody, but I just felt like I don't belong here, dog. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I put myself in this situation, knowing what I did, knowing I could have avoided a lot of situations. I put myself there, and I would tell myself on a daily basis, like, dog, you know, what are you doing here? You gotta, you know. And I was a young man back then. I was still 25. I was still kind of green. I was still, you know, running with gangs and doing the things you ain't supposed to be doing. But you know, at the end of the day, I had to finish my time. So I finished my time, came out, traveled the world. But at that time, Pitbull wasn't what he is now. You know what I mean? So the shows would be maybe, you know, 4 to 8 shows a month. I'd be getting paid a couple grand. I had kids. I had a family I came out to. That money wasn't reaching what I needed to reach. So less than a year of me being out, I started going back in the streets, doing my thing, making a ton of money. And one day I had a meeting with him. I'm like, look, man, you know, I'm doing this. I'm making bread. I don't want to attach you to this, so I'm gonna just go ahead and go my way. And like a brother, he told me, man, listen, this is gonna take off, but you can't see anybody else's dream, dog. You know what I mean? And like somebody, you tell me, hey, I'm gonna make it as a podcaster.
Yeah.
I believe you and I believe in you, but I can't see your dream, and I don't know what you got in your mind. So I had to do what I had to do my way. And I did that, you know, out of respect for him, I went my way. He went his. We never lost contact. That's my brother still to this day. You know what I mean? Like I said, we never lost contact, but he did his business. I went my way. And we circle back now that I'm, you know, doing my thing. And it's all love, man. We go on vacation together, hang out, and I'm at the shows. It's an amazing time, man.
That's beautiful, bro. And I wanna talk to the fact that you talked about it earlier. You started at 35. I know that there's a lot of men watching this, bro, that are trying to get their life together, may think it's already too late for them. They've probably given up. They're like, yo, you know what? I'm already 35. It's over. What would you say to that man that is lost right now, confused, that hasn't found their purpose? Like, what would be the best advice you would give that guy?
So it's great you said that, because I have a documentary called Never Too Late. It's a 12-minute short documentary. We won Best Documentary in 5 different film festivals.
Let's go.
And,
Let's go.
I got into professional fighting when most people are retired.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd go. So I fought at the Hard Rock before it was the Guitar. I fought boxing there probably like 10 times. But the first time I went up to the promoter, I sat at his desk. Shout out to Henry Rivolta. He gave me my first chance. And I sat down. He's like, dog, you're 35, bro. What are you trying to do? I'm like, bro, listen, I understand that, but I have a vision and I know what I'm doing, and I have a lot of people behind me that believe in me. You know what I mean? So I could. What you want me to do is put asses in seats. I could do that. You know what I mean? He gave me my opportunity, and I put asses in seats. But anybody watching at 35, like I said, go watch the documentary, Never Too Late, Yuli Monster. It is never too late, man. It's not. It don't matter if you're 35, 45. If you get the thought in your head, now you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to be given to you. That's guaranteed. You know, nothing was given to me. I had to fight my way to where I'm at today. But there is an opportunity to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it is fighting, podcasting, whatever it is. The hardest thing to do, if you want to start the gym, you want to lose weight, you want to do all this, you know what I mean? Let's say gym wise, the hardest thing to do is take that first step into the gym the first day and get yourself a membership. That's the hardest thing. Podcast.
Getting started.
Hardest thing about doing a podcast is buying the equipment, sitting down, doing a podcast.
Exactly.
That's it. That's the hardest thing, man. Take that first step. And once you take that first step, momentum will start taking you forward.
Well, I want to ask you about BKFC.
Yeah.
When BKFC first stepped on the scene, I had originally seen Gamebred FC as the first like bare knuckle MMA, and to this point, pretty sure the only bare knuckle MMA. And then seeing BKFC, I was like, yo, what is going on? This is some of the most brutal shit that I've ever seen in my life. And if you've been to a BKFC fight, like
BKFC is
bare knuckle boxing. It's bare knuckle boxing.
Okay.
Bare knuckle fight club. Bro, it's not a street fight. Like you gotta think of it like you've seen people get knocked out. Being from New York, you've seen it. Being from Miami, I've seen it. No, it's two trained gladiators that are stepping inside of a ring to take each other's heads off. And the sound of impact of
Bone on bone is one of the most like, bro, I hear that and I'm like, oh my God,
why on Green's earth? God's green earth, bro. Like, out of all the things you could have done in order to do at 35 years old, why bare knuckle?
So my first BKFC fight was at 38 years old, and they came to me in 2019 with a proposal for a fight, and we kind of negotiated. Nothing really happened until my first fight for them was February of 2020. So first I'll answer the why. The why is, you know, to me, you know, like I said, I fought in the streets my whole life. So before I fought professionally, I fought bare knuckle on the streets a million times, you know what I mean? So it was just another thing to do. Now I was trained. Now I actually knew what I was doing. So I felt more confident going into it. BKFC, when I got into it, my first fight was at BKFC 10. They're at 70-something right now. So I was, you could say, one of the originators there, you know what I mean? And they gave me a great opportunity, and I went in and I took it. And it was amazing, man. So I fought for them. That was February 2020. Then COVID hit. Then my next fight was November 2020. That's when I got the 3-second knockout. Then June of the year after that, 2021, I fought Thiago Alves, who's a veteran in UFC. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is I had a podcast called Don't Blink Podcast. After my 3-second knockout, we formed a podcast. It did great for a couple of years. I had him as a guest after we fought, and I showed him. I was going, look. You know, I had a picture of him. November 2005 was his first fight in the UFC. November 2005, I got a picture of me. I was in the box in prison doing 90 days in the box. So I was like, look how two different worlds collided one day. You know what I mean? And ended up being good friends. He beat me at the fight. We fought for the world title. You know what I mean? Nobody ever wants to take a loss, but I took one to a legend. He became the first middleweight champion of BKFC. It was an amazing fight. It was actually nominated for Fight of the Year. We lost to some girls. We should have won. No disrespect to the girls. They had a hell of a fight, but we had way better fight than that. And you know, what's funny about fighting is you try to kill each other, and after the fight, you hug it out, and go get a drink and chill out after that. You know what I mean? And then after that loss, I fought again this guy named Sawyer DP, really tough guy, which actually knocked me down. And when he knocked me down, I went to catch myself. I didn't like splatter on the ground. I caught myself, got up kind of drunk, held on, boom. We kept fighting. I ended up beating him, knocking him out. I didn't know when I caught myself, I fractured, hairline fractures all through my collarbone. So like after the fight, the next day when you fight bare knuckle, if you block and you get hit here, you're going to feel that the next day. Everything hurts. So you get hit here or anywhere. The next day I was like, damn, my fucking shoulder hurts, dog. A month later, I'm like, dog, what the is going on? When I got an MRI, sure enough, hairline fractures all through my collarbone. And then after that, I fought one of my great friends, man. I had to fight my great friend, Francisco Ricci. We fought for the world title because Thiago Alves vacated his title. He left BKFC. The title was open. Me and Francisco Ricci fought for the title again. He's an Italian guy. One of my great friends. He's at my house every week and watching UFC fights. One day, they sent him the contract first with my name on it. And before anything, he calls me. He's like, hey, look, I just want to let you know, they sent me a contract. It's me versus you. And he goes, you know, I wouldn't take this, but it's for the world title. I go, dog, we got to do what we got to do. I love you. I'll see you after the fight. You know what I mean? And we had an amazing fight, man. He beat me. I think in the first, second round, he's a tall dude, lanky. Hit me with a nice shot, split my forehead open where you can see my forehead. So he won the fight as well. So I fought twice for the world title, came up short, but I've had great opportunities. BKFC gave me great opportunities. I fought for them 5 times. But then, you know, I was sitting on the bench. He was sitting on the bench for a year at a time. I fought Thiago June 2021. I fought Francisco Ricci June 2022. So I'm sitting on the bench for a year. They were paying me decent, but that money don't last a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after that, I decided to leave them. I did some boxing. I did MMA for Lex and Titan FC. You know, I did a lot of outside stuff from fighting as well. And then March 2023, my son's birthday is March 3rd. Mine is March 14th. March 3rd, we had his birthday party. March 8th, we were in the hospital because he had this leg pain for a while. So I had taken him to the doctor already. They're saying it's growing pains. So, all right, cool, it's growing pains. You know what I mean? As time passes, it's getting worse. One day, I get him out the car. He's kind of limping out the car. He's a 10-year-old kid, man. All right, man, get back in the car. I take him to the emergency room. We do x-rays, everything. By the time we get back in the car, driving back to school, they send everything, all the results back to his primary. Doctor calls me, he's like, hey, take him back to the hospital. They found a lesion in his femur bone. Take him to oncology. I didn't even know what oncology was, dog. It's a cancer doctors. I didn't know that at the time. I had to Google all this. We get there, they leave us in the hospital from like March 8th, which I'm pretty sure it was like a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Ran a bunch of tests, you know, Monday morning, do like a biopsy. Tuesday morning is my birthday, March 14th. They come back in the room in the morning. They're like, hey, look, your son has osteosarcoma. He has a tumor in his femur bone. He has to do, this is the game plan, 18 weeks of chemotherapy, surgery to remove the femur bone, put a cadaver bone with his fibia, which is the backbone of your calf, inside the cadaver bone so he can regenerate his DNA, and put a rod holding everything together.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And then 10 more weeks of chemotherapy after that. And if anybody doesn't know about chemotherapy, it's poison. You know what I mean? It helps, but it harms just as much as it helps. Long story short, that year, I was there from March to November. I took one fight. I was the co-main event for Floyd Mayweather when he fought John Gotti III at the Florida Panthers Arena. I was the co-main event. Had a hell of a fight. I had actually been a co-main event from in February 2023 before we found all this out. And at the O2 Arena, I fought there as well, which is amazing. And so now, you know, I'm in the hospital with my son every single day. I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm going to the parking garage, running, shadow boxing in the room, doing push-ups. I ain't in no gym.
Yeah.
Taking these fights. I took one fight, not taking these fights. I took that one fight, which I was a co-main event for Floyd. They're paying me well, and it was a great opportunity. And it happened to fall, thank God, right after my son had surgery. So he did 18 weeks of chemotherapy, surgery. Then he had 4 weeks off before chemotherapy again. So I got to do this fight. November 2023, he got to ring the bell where he beat cancer.
Let's go. Thank you,
Let's
God.
go.
He's 13 years old right now, kicking ass, dog. He
Thank
looks
you,
like a little bodybuilder. He's a badass. So that was November 2023. December 2023, I signed a 3-fight deal with BKB. Mind you, I haven't trained all year. I've been running in parking garages. I was mentally checked out of the fight game. I didn't want to fight anymore. So I made a deal with them. My contract was where I'm going to fight for them 3 times. I'm going to retire with them after my 3rd fight, but I want to work for the company, do commentary, do content, be an ambassador for the sport. No problem. They're amazing people. Shout out to Mike Vasquez from BKB. That guy is an angel, man. He's, you know, I'm so super
And
grateful.
bro, you're so well spoken that I think you would crush that. Honestly, I think you would crush that. Not all fighters, bro. Being from Miami, I got a bunch of homies that are in the fight space.
Yeah.
Not all of them can speak, bro.
Yeah. No, trust me, I know. I deal with him every day. Hey, but yeah. So shout out to Mike, man. I'm very grateful for what he's done for me. But those 3 fights, man, I was checked out. I was backstage not wanting to fight. I wasn't even really training. I was going to the gym maybe 3-4 times a week, but like half-assing everything. I was mentally.
Were you just fatigued? Were you depressed? Were you?
No, I was just checked out, dog. I just didn't want to be there anymore for some reason. I can't tell you pinpoint exactly what it was. Maybe it was just the whole thing of the stress of fighting with my son for a whole year. You know what I mean? Fighting this and bro, having all these medications and being with him, making sure you don't have a fever and just rushing back and forth to the hospital. And because, you know, when you're doing chemotherapy, we had to be in the hospital for a week or two at a time. Then we were home for like 2-3 days and back. I got my wife. I got my nephew that I've raised. He's 13 years old as well. I've had him his whole life. You know what I mean? So I got things to take care of, dog. And fighting was like on the back burner. You know what I mean? Even though it was paying my bills, I was like, I don't want to be here no more. Now I just inked the deal where I retired. So I couldn't wait for my retirement. January 24 was my first fight. I go in there, I win. I'm embarrassed to even look at that fight because I go in there, I look like I don't even know how to fight, dog. I won the fight because I had more heart than the dude. You know what I mean? And I got on his ass and I dropped him like 3 times in the fight. But I was like swinging wild and I didn't stick to any game plan and I was like nervous being in there. Then I fight again in, I think it was May 2024. We fight in Denver. I stayed in Denver for a month trying to acclimate, had a little Airbnb, going to the gym, half-assing it still. Got to the fight thinking I'm going to beat this dude. This dude beats me. You know what I mean? He beats me. All my fights that I've lost, thank God, have never been by knockouts. Always doctor stoppage, all the cuts I have. So he cut me up good. They stopped the fight. And again, that whatever I had in me, that even lowered it even more. I'm like, I really don't want to be here, dog. I ain't half-assing this shit. My last fight was August 2024. I fought some dude from Poland. And I went in there, hit him with 2 or 3 good shots, bro, where I beat him good, thank God. And he was a tough dude, but I know I hit hard, you know what I mean? And I stopped him. And right there, laid down my shoes. They threw me a nice retirement party. I had like a whole production for me for my retirement. Started working with the company. Always trained. I never stopped training. Even when I was, quote unquote retired, I was still training. Now, fast forward 2025, I get an opportunity with Dirty Boxing. Now, that feeling I had is kind of going away.
Dirty Boxing is Perry's, right?
Yes. My Perry, John Jones, all these guys.
John Jones as well, yeah.
I got an opportunity there, and I took it. It was March 2025. I took it. I won by first round knockout. My first fight in Dirty Boxing was against the first guy I fought in bare knuckle on BKFC.
No
Same
way.
guy, yeah. Brian, I forgot his name. Brian something. We fought twice, and I beat him. But I'm starting to get my love for the sport back. You know what I mean? Now I got time. Now I'm refreshed. I had this time off. And man, I just never stopped training. And honestly, I want to say maybe the last like 6 to 9 months, dog, I've had this renewal of this feeling where I feel like I'm back where I started from. I feel like it's back 2017 and I have this hunger in me where I really want to do it. I'm at the gym 2 hours a day. I'm running an hour a day. I'm training anywhere I can. I do 340 push-ups a day, and if people ask why, it's because that's 10,200 a month. So I do that many a day to equal 10,000 a month. I'm just like, I'm refreshed. I'm doing my recovery, which is huge. I never did any recovery. I'm back on my recovery. So I feel, I'm 45, dog. I feel like I'm 25. You know what I mean? I'm waking up and I'm doing great things. So we're fighting in FIU August 29th. I got us the venue. I know the chief revenue officer for FIU. I hooked them up with the team for BKB. They closed the deal. After they closed the deal, I told Mike Vasquez, the founder of BKB, I'm like, Mike, I got to be on this fight. This is my backyard. This is like my people. He said, bro, you're retired. I'm like, bro, listen, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm coming back, dog. He's like, you sure? Yeah. So he gave me the opportunity. And so we're fighting August 29th, FIU in the backyard. I'm refreshed, renewed. You're going to see a new Yuli monster in the ring.
I'm excited for that, bro.
I'm super
if
excited
I'm in
for that
town,
as well.
I'm in there.
Yeah, now we got to go.
You got to fly in for that,
yeah,
bro. You got to. That's
you
mandatory.
know what? You got my word
August
on that.
29th, you got 10 weeks, dog. You know what I mean?
You got my word on that. Let's do it.
We'll be here because it's right before we fly out to Vegas for the 31st.
We outside.
Perfect. Come on. You fly from Miami to Vegas, even better.
Date night.
Yeah,
Date
bro.
night, bro.
Perfect.
Bro, you're a perfect example of the quote that says the test comes before the testimony, right? And you had a huge test with your son going through cancer and the whole 9, but then the testimony comes after with the deal that you signed. So that's beautiful, bro. I'm happy to see where you're at now and that you're gonna have this fight, bro.
Thank you very much. And we're still writing the testimony, dog. We got a lot of life to live, a lot of fights to fight, a lot of love to give, bro. So the testimony's still building, the story's still building. there's and again, I feel refreshed. I feel renewed. I'm ready to. I got to get my get back for the loss I had. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff in the future. I'm taking it one step at a time. August 29, I'm fighting G Money. He's out of Miami. He's 2-0. He's got a great record. He's training as well. He's getting ready. So I'm looking forward to it, man. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to be in my backyard and knock some heads off again. Keep inking that in.
So you strike me as the all-in type. Everything you do has to be 100%. Has to be 100%.
Sure.
And if not, it f***s with your head.
It does.
100%, you're all in. Who is your dream fight right now? Dream fight.
Dream fight. Oh, man.
Status doesn't matter. If you could take one dream fight.
No, dream fight. I got 3 big names in mind. I always kind of say the same guys. I say, look, George Masvidal. I like George. George's a Miami guy. We both have the fastest knockout in history. Him in the UFC, me in combat sports. He's a great guy. It's nothing against him. I just think that if me and George fight in Miami, we'll sell out any arena, anywhere, any place. I think we'll set it out just from the Miami love. Mike Perry, I like Mike Perry. He's my guy too, but I think he's doing his thing, and and it's no hater, nothing at all. It's actually nothing but love. But he's at the top of the totem pole, man. I want to take my try at him. And Jake Paul, I've trained with Jake Paul before. Believe it or not, a lot of people, I catch a lot of flack for this, but he's a great fighter, man. I was part of his training camp in Puerto Rico.
You can't deny it anymore at this point, bro.
You can't. I think it was last year, 2025. I spent about a week or like 10 days with him at his training camp in Puerto Rico. He was getting ready for Mike Perry, actually.
I remember watching that.
Yeah. And so he'd be another big name. I like to fight all 3 of them if possible. That'd be great. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I got to do what I got to do. I got to fight the guys in front of me now.
Yep.
G-Money's coming up, and whoever they put in front of me. And that's how I've noticed in my life, the way doors open is to keep your head down, do your work, and just go. The more you ask and the more you say shit, the less doors open. The more doors actually close. You know what I mean? So I just got to do what I got to do. You're undeniable. You're the next guy up. You're like, hey, you can't deny me. I'm here. I've done everything I had to do to get myself here. Let's go. Open that door and let's get through it. If not, I'll kick that door down.
Well, speaking of getting here, I think one of the biggest stages in the sport just took place, and that was UFC Freedom.
Badass.
Bro, what the was that?
That was insane.
What the was that?
Badass.
From the moment that we saw the jets fly over the White House to Dana right next to Trump, I mean, regardless of how you feel about Trump, that was America and such a dope ass spectacle. And the U.S., with the exception of Chandler, came out. Like, they came out to do their thing. What was the most surprising thing of all of UFC Freedom for you? I
think all of it was, man. Just a fight on the lawn at the White House. Spectacular. Poatan losing. You know what I mean? Ilia Topuria losing. And listen, I already knew Justin Gaethje. He's a tough.
He's a dog, bro.
He is a dog. But just all of it in the sense of how it came together was just surprising. It was amazing to see Dana walk out with Trump from the beginning. That the dude's walking out of the Oval Office. Listen, that's a one in a lifetime. We lived through something that's never going to happen again. I don't care who comes again. That's never going to happen. You know what I mean? That's amazing. So just to be alive, part of the fight game, and to be able to see that, it was just awesome.
That was insane, man. Watching, I knew Gaethje was going to win, but I had no idea. So bad to the point that people were saying that Ilia tossed the fight. And I'm like, bro, nobody tossed that fight there. And then another one I read online was they didn't check Gaethje's gloves. And I'm like, bro, this guy has dynamite in his hands, bro. There's nothing that you could do.
When it comes to things like that, I always tell people the same thing. They hated on Jesus Christ, right?
Facts.
So how they're going to hate on everybody else, bro.
Facts.
There's nothing you could do right that everybody's going to love. You know what I mean? You're going to have the haters. And the haters is fuel to the fire, man. Keep it coming.
Facts. You said Jorge Masvidal. We've had him on this podcast.
He's the man.
Yeah,
He's
man. That's
like
one of my
George.
brothers, bro. He's a good dude, but I agree that fight would be insane in Miami.
In Miami, it's got to be a Miami thing. You know,
that would be insane.
Bro.
That would
be insane.
Stupid in Miami.
Insane.
Bro, you a lot of people don't know this, but your wife was in the WE or still is.
No, she was in WWE for 12 years. Now she wrestles with TNA, which actually got bought out by WWE, so it's under the same umbrella.
So obviously both of you guys are extreme competitors.
Yes. Between
both of you guys, who would you say handles pressure best?
So it depends on the pressure. She grew up very professional. where I didn't. She's taught me so much. My wife has been a blessing in my life when it comes to, especially like
Did you meet her after 35?
Yes, I met her actually when I was 38. I was fighting for Titan actually. I was fighting for Titan. I was Yoel Romero was my coach for that fight.
Shout out to Yoel.
That's
legend.
my dog. That's my brother,
Legend.
man. And he was my coach for that fight. And then so I weighed in after the weigh-ins. We're on the way to go eat at Sushi Saki on Sunset and 97 over in Miami. And I guess she had posted something on Instagram. They knew each other, so he calls her like, "Hey, are you in Miami?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, my fighter has a fight tomorrow. You know me. You want to meet us for lunch?" She's like, "All right, where you at?" "No, coming down." She was in Fort Lauderdale. She's like, "Yeah, I'll come down. I'll meet you guys." So, mind you, I have a fight the next day. Oh, so he gets on the phone with her, but remember, he talks Spanish. My girl's American. So he puts me on the phone with her on FaceTime. I look at her and go, "Oh my God, you're beautiful." I tell her, that's the first thing I tell her. And then I tell her, "Hey, look, we're going here, blah, blah. This is how you get there." I get to Sushi Saki. I eat my food and I dip. I go home and get rest for the next day. She shows up and I didn't know. She showed up. I was gone. And then she hit me on Instagram on a DM. So I look. I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "Hey, I missed you at the sushi spot." I'm like, "Oh, my bad. I forgot you were coming. I got this fight tomorrow. It wasn't even on my mind." She's like, "Hey, can you get my friend a ticket to the fight?" I go, you coming?" She goes, "No, I leave on this holiday tour with WWE, but can you get my friend a ticket to the fight?" I'm like, "Yeah." Have her call this number of my photographer's girl, Jen, so got her friend in the fight. I ended up winning the fight. I had like top 5 knockouts of the year for that fight. And she hit me after the next day after the fight. "Hey, congratulations on the win." Now I'm kind of clear-headed. Now I'm like, "What's up? Where you at?" Yeah. "No, I'm over here. We're on tour with WWE." I'm like, "All right." So we kind of kept this, I call it a middle school relationship where we're talking on FaceTime and phone calls and text messages and just going back and forth for like 2 weeks before I actually met her. I met her, it was right after Christmas. She came down. She lived in Boca. I was waiting for her in her parking lot. She got off a flight. I was in her parking lot just waiting on her. Boom, she got there. And brother, from day one that we met, we never left each other's side. Never left each other's side from day one. We were together. Funny story is part of that too. Is about 3 to 4. So we get together December 2019. March 2020, COVID hits. So this is where you're going to find out if you really want to be with somebody. Because you're stuck, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So we stuck together. And nothing, it's all love. Me and her, it was just an easy relationship, dog. Everything was cool. You know what I mean? It was awesome. Love my kids. She trains every day. She motivates me to train. When I feel lazy, I can't watch her on the treadmill and be like, "Damn, I got to do it." You know what I mean? I can't just lay there. So it's a motivation. She teaches me how to eat and do shit right, business-wise, how to handle sponsors and everything, how to talk to people. I'm like, damn. So it was just an amazing relationship. So 4 months down the line, she's on a trip with WWE. Dog, I rented a U-Haul truck, got 4 of my dogs, rode to her house in Boca Raton, packed that shit up with all her shit without even saying anything, drove it back to my house, put my house all full of her shit. And when she landed back, I'm like, "Hey, this is where you live now." And she's like, "What?" She said, "What if we, get in a fight?" I'm like, "Listen, we'll work it out." And here we are 7 years later, man.
What a blessing.
God bless.
What a blessing.
Thank you,
The most important decision that you make is the woman that you have beside you.
Amen.
It is literally the most important. I've been with my wife now it's my first girlfriend ever, man.
No,
yeah, awesome, bro. So I think, thank you. And it's crazy, bro. Your career popped off after your 30s.
Yeah.
You found the love of your life after your 30s, bro. Your business is moving better than it's ever been after your 30s.
Yeah.
Outside of the success that you're experiencing non-monetarily and monetarily, what are your goals for you as a man? Like take away the fighting, take away all of that. What's the next step for you, Lee?
So my main goals in life, people ask me, "Hey, look, when you're, and God willing, it's a long time from now, but when I'm laying there and life is over, my main goals are, first, he was a great father. Second, he was a great friend. And third, you could count on this man for anything, you know what I mean? And then after that, yeah, he was a tough dude. He fought. He has the world record knockout, blah, 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 blah. But most important to me is just being a father and a husband and a good son.
Well, I think of those things. Obviously, these are things that Pitbull saw in you, right? And I would love to know 2 questions for you. What do you think he saw in you that you didn't see in yourself at that moment? And then also, are you going to be able to give somebody else that opportunity that maybe Lex has given you in the past, or that maybe Pitbull's given you in the past? Are you actively seeking that?
So I'm not active. I'm never actively seeking that. And the thing about me is I'm really an open door. I'm really good to everybody. I'm not this dude that kind of holds back to see. Like, I let you either play yourself or be yourself. You know what I mean? So I'm very open to people. I open doors. You want to come train with me at my gym? I don't train people. Come to my gym. You got to pay my coaches like I pay my coaches, and let's get the same training, and you could train side by side with me. So doors are always open when it comes to that. What Pitt saw in me, again, I was the guy who couldn't see 5 minutes ahead, in front of myself. He saw a vision with me. He knew I've always had a good heart. I've always been a good person. Like I just said now, I've always been a good friend. I'll be the best friend anybody could have, dog. I'll bend over backwards, give the shirt off my back, and I won't die for you. I'll kill for you, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's something that's just been instilled in me since I was a kid that I feel like I got from my mom. I grew up with a single mom, always a very tough woman, and still around and still doing great things, still the same way. So, I think just like my girl, she saw, when she got me, I was still rough around the edges, and she got to, look, this is how we do things. I see where you want to go, and I see what you're trying to do, and I see that you have it in you, but you got to do it the right way. You know what I mean? So I think that's what Pitt's on me too, man. Like, listen, dog, once you got your shit together, you're gonna be great, dog. You just gotta stay in line. You gotta cut these fools out. You gotta do this. You know what I mean? And it's no hate on nobody. You just gotta do it because it's like life is like crabs in a bucket. Everybody's trying to pull each other down. You got to get away from that.
That must mean a lot for a visionary like Pitt. It went so. I remember when Pitt was MIA.
Yeah.
Just money is a major issue.
Yeah.
Right. Miami, money is a major issue. And then now it's like, bro, I've been to 52 different countries. I'm pretty sure I've heard Pitbull in at least 45 of them.
Everywhere.
I've heard him in all of them, dog. Yeah.
And in countries that you would not expect it, like Eastern Europe, and they're in there screaming the lyrics to Pitbull.
Yeah.
And getting recognition from somebody like that, a true visionary, must mean the world, bro.
He's my brother. He's an inspiration, a motivation. He's somebody I truly admire. I'm lucky enough to be able to call him and ask him for advice, and somebody I could receive advice from. And that's another thing, being open to receiving advice and not being the Mr. Know-It-All. You know what I mean? Not thinking you know everything that's good for you. From the outside looking in, there's always people that there's things you don't see. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you think you're doing right, and then people come like, bro, that ain't ain't right.
Facts.
One thing about myself is I am very accountable too. Like if I did wrong, I'm accountable. Hey, look, you're right. You know what? You're absolutely right, dog. I'm gonna fix that. So that's one thing that I think has helped me advance in life, because a lot of people stay stuck. I know a lot of people like that. Hey, you did wrong. No, I didn't do that. No, it was him. Or the blame game and all this. I don't do that. Ain't no blaming. It's on me. And that's the great thing about the fight game. I got coaches, great coaches.
You can't blame nobody
great people
else,
believe in me,
bro.
but when I'm in there, I'm solo, dog. That's it.
You can't blame nobody else.
Ain't no blaming for nothing, dog. You know what I mean? We had a game plan. If you ain't stick to it, you ain't stick to it. That's on you. But ain't nobody to blame. And I've always loved that. I've always been more of a solo guy when it comes to things like that than a team, a sport player. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of being able to not be able to blame anybody else, you've taken some hard L's. You've taken some L's. And then the worst part about your L's is that they're public.
Right.
Like the world is watching that.
That's tough.
Watching Ilya take that L, that was not an L that is easy to recover from, right? I was watching something Masvidal posted the other day. He was like, you're going to need time after that. Like, you're going to need some serious time. What do you tell somebody that is recovering from an L inside of their own lives?
At the end of the day, so one thing is for Ilya, and one thing's for everybody else recovering in their own lives. Ilya is a warrior. You know what I mean? He knows how this game goes. You win some, you lose some. Obviously, you never expect to lose. He came in there as ready as could be. He even wrote it himself. He wrote a nice post to Justin. He came ready. There's no excuses. And that's just part of the world, man. You know what I mean? The world comes in waves, dog. Sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. And that's something that probably I would tell everybody else as well. You know what I mean? Honestly, just to piggyback off that, if it's not Ilya who just lost a big fight, he fought above his weight class. He fought one of the toughest dudes in the world. There's no shame, dog. There's no hanging your head on that. He put himself out there in front of the world and he came up short, dog. But who else is to say anything to him? You know what I mean? None of us have put ourselves in that position. But to piggyback back off that to everybody else is like, again, life comes in waves, man. Sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up. And when you're down, you never know when that up moment is coming. As long as you're working and doing what you're supposed to do, trying to do things right and trying to head in the right direction, you never will know when the tides are going to turn and you're going to be up. And once you're up, remember where you came from. Don't forget, because that will turn right quick too. So I think from all the L's I've taken and from being at the bottom of the bottom so many times, that now I'm not going to say I'm at the top, but I'm happy where I'm at. You know what I mean? And there's still room to grow, and I'm still growing. But I just remember where I came from, and I'm like, I've done such a 180 in my life, and I'm such a different person that I can't even see the old me anymore. I know the stories, and I live the stories, and I remember, and I see pictures of me in prison, and I put up certain posts sometimes to try to motivate people. I've always tried to be I've always considered myself a motivator. You know what I mean? Because of I've been through. Dog, if I did it, anybody could do it. You know what I mean? Type of feel. That's what I try to push out to everybody. And especially these guys coming to my gym. Dog, I'm 45 years old. I'm still getting after it. You're 19, 20, 30. Ain't no excuse, bro. I don't want to hear it.
What motivated me the most about you wasn't the 3-second knockout. The 3-second knockout is how I heard about who Yuli was. What motivated the most about you is when I started to do research on you and started to follow you on socials. I was like, get the out of here, bro. He's starting his life now. This guy is starting his life right now, bro. So you are literally, you've had the opportunity to be born all over again, bro.
That's true. That's true. I put up a post yesterday that says, I was 21 when I was 15, so I'm bored of doing all that. You know what I mean? I was bored of doing all that shit. So that's how I feel now. Like, there's nothing that excites me outside of being with my family, outside of a fight, outside of training. I use a lot of things for motivation. Now, discipline is a lot more important to have than it is motivation.
That's facts.
But if you're disciplined and you can use motivation, that'll just take you 10 steps higher. So I tell people this all the time. When I run, when I exercise, when I do anything, I don't listen to no music, dog. I listen to podcasts and I listen to books.
Let's go.
I just heard a new book recently. It's called Comfort in Darkness. It's by Hickson Gracie, one of the Gracie brothers. And dog, those people come from a lineage of warriors. And that's what I consider myself. I always have. My name is Ulysses. I'm the only Greek god. My name is the only Greek god to have survived Troy. They found him 15 years later, thinking he was dead, and he came back out the depths of sea, and he's made it. And I've always, carried that name with a lot of pride.
Bro, that's you.
That's me.
That's you,
me.
bro.
That's literally you, bro.
That's a
crazy.
powerful book title too. Comfort and great
and darkness.
And darkness.
Yeah, Comfort and Darkness. It's amazing.
What are some of the
I highly recommend it. You guys, I listen to it on Audible, so I highly recommend that.
What are some of the podcasts you're listening to right now?
I listen to Joe Rogan every fucking guest. I don't care if you're a scientist or a fighter. I listen to all of it. I was listening to it in the car. And I parked in front of my car. If I turn it on now, it's a scientist talking about how you could do things with your mind. You know what I mean? So, and I'm heavy on the mind game too, man. You gotta. You know what I mean? Again, there's darkness and there's shit all around us, brother. You know what I mean? You got to see the light and go towards the light, dog. If not, if you start dwelling in darkness, you're gonna make your wife mad. Your kids gonna be sad. You're gonna make your homeboys be like, dog, I don't want to do a podcast with you, dog. It's just talking sad shit, dog. You know what I mean? Like, so I see the happiness in everything, man. Yeah. So
and that's a superpower in its own.
Yeah, yeah. I listen to Fighter and the Kid, which is like half fighting, half comedy. Those are my main ones. I listen, like, I don't watch the news on TV. I listen to these little 10-minute things that they have on Fox just to know what's going on with the world.
Theo Von's my newest one.
I like Theo Von. I listen to Theo Von as well.
I haven't heard that one, no.
Theo Von,
he's awesome. You talk to a scientist and it's a funny conversation. Yeah, it's awesome.
Him sitting down with Trump and him sitting down with an Amish person. Then, like, he's freaking incredible. He's incredible. Okay, so as we come to a wrap on this thing, 20 years from now, your children are watching this episode and the internet is forever. And they're scrolling through and they see this episode. They're watching it. What do you want them to know about their father?
Dad loves you, man. Dad loves you. Dad has done everything in his power to make sure you guys have a great life. They know already. I go above and beyond for my family. I've had to claw, scratch, and fight my way to where I'm at now. And I'm far from the top. Like I said, I still have a lot of work to do. And, I'm very proud of what you guys have done. My son, again, he's 13 years old. He's kicking ass, playing football. The other day we do push-ups. I did 76 straight. My son did 77 straight. So he beat me for
At 13.
Yeah, at 13 years old, bro. And he's, he stays in the mirror flexing. But more than anything, man, I love you guys, and I'm very proud of to be your father.
God bless them, bro. That's amazing, bro.
Thank
that
you,
you've
bro.
been able to be just such an amazing example.
Thank
and
you, man.
You were there with him through his toughest time, and I'm sure he appreciates that so much.
We actually did. Shout out to Sofla. He did my documentary. Guillermo Alfonso. He did my documentary, and then right at the end of my son's last chemotherapy, he came and started filming. We did a short documentary on my son. It's a 12-minute documentary. We put it into different film festivals. In the Miami Film Festival, he won Best Short Documentary. Had everybody in the crowd crying and shit. I feel like crying talking about him. But yeah, dog. He's I feel like I'm passing on my mindset to him, my power, my energy. He's a warrior. He's a dog, man. He's a dog.
And the thing on his leg, does it still affect him to this day, or is he?
It doesn't. It doesn't, man. It doesn't. He has a scar from his hip down to his ankle because they cut here for the femur and they cut here for the other bone. And nothing. He wears the scar proudly. He won't even tell anybody he had cancer. So he started wrestling for his school. Coincidentally, there's two coaches. They're brothers. They're wrestling coaches for his school. I know them. I played baseball with them when I was 7 years old. These are my dogs since I was a little kid. Their dad was my coach. These are my dogs. So he's like, Dad, I'm wrestling for school. I knew they were the coach. I knew he wasn't going to say anything, so I had to call him and be like, hey, listen, I know Junior's wrestling. He ain't going to tell you nothing. He beat cancer. No, we know. Well, he has a rod in his leg, so watch out with these kids diving at his leg. Teach him how to sprawl before anything, what I mean? So they work with him on sprawling, and now he's a beast, bro. He's flipping kids.
Thank you, Jesus,
Yeah,
bro.
amen.
Thank you, Jesus,
Amen,
bro.
Thank you, Jesus.
What a blessing. What a blessing.
God is great, bro.
Amen, dog.
Well, Yuli, August 29th.
We're there.
We're there. I'm bringing wifey.
The
We're
whole
going to be
gang.
outside. We're bringing a gang with us, bro, and we're excited to see your hand get raised
Let's go.
in FIU at our hometown, bro. And
We're
I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to sit with you.
Listen, man, I'm grateful as well. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. I love what you're doing.
Thank you, bro.
It's amazing, and you guys are spreading a great message, man. And you guys got good energy too, so that vibrates, bro.
My dog. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. I wanna let me shout out my sponsors real quick
Please
before
do.
we go.
Yeah,
I got
do your thing, bro.
Accident Medical Group, AMG. Shout out to them. Those guys have been amazing. Been with them for 3 years. The owner Yusuf, they've been in business now 6 or 7 years, and he's been killing it, man. He's doing amazing. That's my guy. So check out Accident Medical Group on Instagram. Hold on, I got these guys here too. I got PHX. They work on my recovery. These guys, I just did cupping today. PHX is just great for anything you need, from peptides to recovery to cold and to cold plunges to sauna. Thump House Boxing, that's my gym. I train out of Thump House. Anybody wants to come train, again, you could train side by side with me. I don't train anybody. That's one thing I don't do. I've never been a good coach. I like to do things for myself and just like
Teammate.
I could show you better than I could tell you is my type of deal. The fire sprinkler guy, that's my guy. He's been rocking with me forever. The owner of that is Carlos. I went to high school with Carlos. He's the fire sprinkler guy. He fixes all fire sprinklers in every Walmart, every Kmart, anything you think of. Sports Grill, my after party's at Sports Grill on 114 in Burr Road. That's my guy Carlos. Shout out to Carlos on Sports
Special Grill.
Yeah, Special Grill Wings. All right.
I love Sports Grill.
Well, Sports Grill. Well, my after party is the Sports Grill. So we'll go from FIU right down the street at 114 in Burr Road is the Sports Grill. That's my after party.
I've eaten at there.
And I love doing my after parties like that, places like that, because it's family oriented. My kids could come, you know what I mean? Like wives, everybody could come. It's a chill environment. We'll sit at a table, eat, drink, chill. And you know what I mean? I'll have my opponent's 2 front teeth. You know what I mean? We'll throw them around like dice. And shout out to Ricky's Meats, man. Ricky's Meats is amazing. This guy found me on Instagram. He's an older gentleman, owns a meat market. He came from a troubled background from New York. Actually, he's a Cuban guy who was in New York. Grew up troubled, opened up a meat shop, and has been running for 30-something years.
Damn.
I'm on a carnivore diet, so this guy's a blessing in my life. Anything I want, whenever I'm throwing a party, hey, Ricky, I need ribeyes, I need tomahawks. This guy gives me so much meat that I have to pass it around at the party because it's too much. So shout out to Ricky's Meats too, man. And, everybody that believes in me. And shout out to the haters too, man. You guys keep me motivated.
Yuli, I want to wrap with this, man. You have given so many people shout outs, not just sponsorships, bro, throughout the entire podcast. Like, yo, shout out to my guy over here. This person's doing this, or shout out to this person. I got so much love for this person. And bro, I don't know if you realize, but you've definitely given a lot of people opportunity, and you will continue to do so. It's embedded in your heart, bro.
Thank you, brother. And the only reason I get to do that is because those people that I've name dropped have given me the opportunity to be able to do that. So I'm extremely grateful. I go up and out of my way, and I go above and beyond to try to show these guys at all times that I'm grateful. And that could be just in the form of a text message. I'll text you every day. I'll send you. I got a group of people I send prayers to every day. They got a daily Bible verse I read every day, and I send it to everybody.
Add me to that.
I will.
Add me to that.
I absolutely will. And it's just because I am, first and foremost, I thank God. I'm still here because of God and my mom's prayers, bro. If not, when it comes to the streets, it's only death or prison. You know what I mean? That's guaranteed. And I already went to prison. I've cheated death many times. So thank God I got away from that. And now, we're living a great life, man. Life is good. And huge shout out to my wife and my son and my sons, because my nephew's more like my son too, man. They keep me motivated. They keep me driven. My nephew's playing basketball and wrestling. My son's playing football. My wife is still kicking ass all over the world. You see her, catch her on TV on AMC every Thursday kicking ass. Ash my elegance. I love you, baby. And man, again, life is good, man, and God is great.
That's a beautiful characteristic to have, bro. You really never forget where you came from, bro. You really show love to everybody. So God bless you, your family, and may God continue to bless you with everything that you want, bro.
Now go take that dub. August 29th, bro. God bless you, puppy.
Let's go. Hey, after the fight, we'll shake hands, but I'm going to knock his front teeth to the back row. So y'all catch him.
All right, that's a bet.
Say less, my brother.
Love, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir.